Part 1, a historic shift, decimalisation and the 5 new pence. Let's rewind to 1971, a year that changed British coinage forever. This was the year of decimalisation, when the UK transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to the modern decimal system. On February 15, 1971, the new currency system officially launched. Among the new coins introduced was the 5 new pence, which was actually introduced in 1968, but in 1971, it became a staple in daily transactions. The coin was small, shiny, made from cupronickel, and featured obverse, a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin. Reverse, a crowned thistle, the national flower of Scotland, designed by Christopher Ironside. It replaced the older 1 shilling coin and had the same size and weight, 23.59 mm diameter and 5.65 grams in weight. Millions were minted. But among those millions are rare exceptions, errors, and low-minted strikes that make the 1971 5p coin a hidden goldmine. Explosion symbol, Part 2. What makes the 1971 5 new pence rare? So what makes this specific coin from 1971 so incredibly valuable? Most 1971 5p coins were mass-produced for circulation, with over 100 million struck. However, the value isn't in the regular version, it's in the rare minting errors, proof versions, and wrong planchet strikes. White heavy check mark error coins, some 1971 5p coins were struck off-center or using mismatched dies, or even on the wrong metal blanks, planchets. These are exceptionally rare and highly prized by collectors. White heavy check mark proof specimens, a very limited number of proof coins were produced for the 1971 proof set. These coins have a mirror-like finish and sharp detail, and even among these, ultra-high-grade examples can fetch thousands. White heavy check mark wrong metals planchet errors, coins mistakenly struck on a 1p or foreign blank instead of the proper 5p planchet are considered numismatic gold. Only a handful of these have ever surfaced, and they can fetch £10,000 to £100,000 plus depending on condition. Money bag, Part 3. Auction value, what these coins are selling for. You're probably wondering, is this really worth that much? Oh yes. Let's look at actual market prices. Right pointing magnifying glass standard 1971 5p in circulated condition. Value, 5 pence to 50 pence, just face value or slightly more. Gemstone proof 1971 5p in original set. Value, £10 to £50 depending on quality. Fire 1971 5p with minting error, off-center, double strike, wrong planchet. Value, £500 to £3,000 for minor errors. Value, £5,000 to £10,000 plus for major errors. Gemstone 1971 5p struck on a foreign planchet, rare confirmed specimens. Value, £25,000 to over £100,000, especially in certified condition by PCGS or NGC. Collectors around the world are actively looking for these anomalies. One verified 1971 5p error recently sold for over £12,000 at a UK numismatic auction. Part 1. Background and minting. Let's take a journey back to 1983, the year the UK introduced the very first £1 coin into circulation. Prior to this, the £1 note had been the standard. But notes wear out fast, so the Royal Mint made a big switch, introducing a round, thick, nickel brass coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and the Royal Arms shield on the reverse, designed by Eric Sewell, then the chief engraver of the Royal Mint. Over 443 million of these coins were produced in 1983, sounds like a lot, right? So how can one of these be worth tens of thousands of pounds? Because hidden among those hundreds of millions are a tiny handful of error coins, and these are the ones that can fetch small fortunes at auction. Bullseye, Part 2, the rare error. Now here's where things get interesting. There's a rare variety of the 1983 £1 coin that was never meant for general circulation, and only a few of these have ever surfaced. This rare version has one shocking difference. It was struck with the wrong edge inscription. Normally, the 1983 £1 coin should have the edge inscription. decus et tutamen, a Latin phrase meaning an ornament and a safeguard. But in this extremely rare error version, the coin has no edge inscription at all, it's just a plain edge. This is a massive minting mistake. And it's believed to have come from a batch of coins meant for uncirculated sets, or potentially struck during a test run, where the blank edge was never milled or inscribed. What makes this even more amazing is that only a few of these plain edge coins have been discovered in over 40 years. That's what makes them worth so much today. Money with Wings, Part 3, Value at Auction. So how much is this rare 1983 £1 plain edge error actually worth? Let's talk cold, hard cash. One of these coins was confirmed sold for over £20,000 in the UK. Some dealers list them for £50,000 to £100,000, depending on condition and provenance. In near uncirculated or mint state condition, the coin becomes almost priceless to the right collector. Here's the catch, the value depends on authentication and scarcity. Since this coin is ultra-rare, even major coin grading companies like NGC or PCGS consider it a top-tier find. If you think you might own a 1983 £1 coin, check the edge. If it's smooth, no writing at all, then you might be holding a life-changing coin. Left-pointing magnifying glass, Part 4, How to check your 1983 £1. Let's get practical. Here's how you can identify the ultra-rare version of this coin. White heavy check mark Step 1, check the date, make sure it's a 1983 coin. White heavy check mark Step 2, inspect the edge, does it have the Latin phrase, decus et tutamen? White heavy check mark Step 3, if the edge is completely plain, with no inscription or milling, you might have the rare error. If you suspect your coin is the rare version, get it professionally graded. Avoid cleaning it, that can ruin its value. Contact a reputable numismatist or auction house. You can even contact Heritage Auctions, Spink, or DNW in the UK. And remember, if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare coins in brilliant uncirculated condition, its value could easily exceed £50,000 or more, especially in international markets where collectors pay premiums for UK errors. Books E Part 5, Historical Significance. Why is the 1983 £1 coin such a big deal in British numismatic history? Because it was the first year of issue for the pound coin. It marked a major transition from paper to metal for one of the UK's most commonly used denominations. That alone makes the 1983 coin a collectible, but combine that with a massive minting error and only a handful in existence, and you've got the perfect storm of rarity, history, and value. This coin tells a story, not just of a minting mistake, but of how even something meant for everyday use can become a national treasure.